ladies, welcome to the March program. This is a demo video. These are the videos that you're going to see all of the workouts, all of the exercises, everything broken down, how to do it, how to do your form, any substitutions, modifications, how to make it harder, easier. Any of that information is going to be in all of these demo videos, okay? So this is going to go along with your workout schedule. Mine looks a little bit different. It's a rough draft, but this is what's attached to your email. So I do suggest you print it, and I'm just going to go over every single workout by day. So we are on Monday, February 28th. This is a lower body workout. If you're not familiar, it says 4, 5, or 6 rounds. That means you're going to choose. So you're going to pick 4, 5, or 6. And then where I have the star and the underline, that means that's one whole part. And then you'll see where it says up and overs, that also has a star and an underline. That means that's a second part, okay? So they're two separate things. They don't get put together. So we have 10, 10, 14, and 14. That is the number of reps that you're doing. So you're going to do 10 scissor lunges, 10 lateral lunges per leg. Scissor lunges is per leg. 14 weighted bridges, 14 squat jacks, okay? So the number in front of the exercise is the reps, and then across the top is how many times you're repeating that list. That's your rounds, how many rounds you're doing. So we have scissor lunge, lateral lunge to kick, weighted bridges, squat jacks. So I'm gonna do a quick demonstration of each exercise before I explain them. Scissor lunge. 1, 2. Lateral lunge to kick, back up here. I'm cracking. Weighted bridges. And I think it's squat jack. Okay, so it says out in is 2, so it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And then part 2, we have up and overs. All right. And as a disclaimer, if you've not been with me before, I have a bad back and a bad wrist, so some things are a little bit hard for me to do. All right, scissor lunges. So this one, it says per because you have to do 10 on one leg and then 10 on the other. So with these, you're combining a reverse lunge and a forward lunge. So if you've never lunged at all before, when you do a reverse lunge, you're gonna step backward, okay? So when you step backward, you want the foot that goes back to be staggered, okay? So staggered means that I can still see both feet when I step back. If I did it like a tightrope, it would be hidden. So you do not want to be like this because it's very hard to balance like a tightrope. You want to have that staggered step. So you want to step back, staggered, where you can still see that foot. You're going to be up on your toe. So you step back, you're up on your toe, and you just sink down, okay? So both knees are going to be pretty much 90-degree angle. Sink down, up. Sink down, up. Your back is straight. Your shoulders are forward. Your hips are forward. Your knees are forward. Your ankles are forward. Everything stays exactly how it is. You just sink down and come up, okay? So you don't want to lean forward. You don't want your knees to bow to the side or cave in. Everything should be in a line going forward. So your front lunge is the same, except you lunge to the front. So the scissor lunge is going back and forth and back and forth. So your scissor lunge is back, front, 1, back, front, 2. So right now we're working this leg. That's why you have to switch, because then eventually we'll switch sides and this leg will be going and you'll be standing on this leg. So again, back, and you can go as fast or slow as you want. You can go back, pause, forward, pause, 1. Back, pause, forward, pause, 2. Or you can almost kind of do like a swing through motion. See how I don't even stop? 1, 2, 3, 4, all right? And technically you're kind of actually working both legs, because when you come forward, you have to push off to get back to center. So, but technically you stay on this leg stationary. So when you go to the other side, it's gonna be the same thing. You're just gonna keep this leg on the ground, back, front, one, back, front, two. You can like hold on to the back of a chair or something if you need to. If you'd like to, you can also add weight. That's up to you. So you're gonna do 10 on each side. Now we have our lateral lunge to kick. So again, per side. So you're gonna do all on one leg, then you're gonna switch to the other side. So what our lateral lunge is you're gonna take a big step out to the side, but again, everything's pointing forward. Your hips, your feet, your shoulders. And you're gonna sink your butt down and diagonal back, and your body's gonna shift to the side. So I'm not lunging to the side per se. I'm not going this way, I'm not turning my knee. I'm sinking diagonal back. So you wanna think about a pocket being right here, and your butt needs to move back and diagonal to sit in it, okay? So this leg that you're sinking toward is gonna bend. The other leg is gonna be straight because all the weight is now on this leg, okay? So all the weight shifts to this side when you do your lateral lunge. So you're gonna step out, butt diagonal back, one, come back in. Step out, butt diagonal back, two. Diagonal back. So this is what your lateral lunge looks like, okay? So remember, your knees, your toes should be pointing fairly forward. All the weight is gonna end up on this leg, so see how I can move this all around? There's no weight on this leg at all, okay? That's your lateral lunge. So what this is doing is adding a kick. So when you stand up from that lunge, you're gonna kick. If you have balance issues, if you can't do it, just do a lateral lunge. But the kick is like this. So you're gonna hit your lateral, and when you come up, you're just gonna kick, okay? So lateral, stand, kick, one. Lateral, come together, kick, two. Lateral, come together, kick, three. So if you notice when I kick, I lean a little bit, and it might take you a couple times to kind of find. You don't have to kick super high. You could just kick really low if you want. I like to try to kick high, so I kind of tilt and kick. But again, that's added. You don't have to do that. That's just giving you a little bit more of that isolation work with that one leg. So if you can't do that part, you're just gonna do a regular lateral lunge. And then we have weighted bridges, which a lot of us have done bridges before. And you'll see like it's really popular on social media. Everyone is doing the thrusters, where they have a big barbell across their lap, their shoulders are on a weight bench, and they're thrusting up like this because it's a really good butt building exercise. So this is kind of a way to do that at home without having a barbell. So you're gonna take your weights and you're gonna sit them in the like crevice where your thigh meets your torso, pretty much. So where you have a bend right here in the top of your leg, your weights can kind of sit right there. So that's what I typically do. So they're kind of diagonal, but that way I only have to really put I put the base of my palms on the top of the weight, and I don't have to worry about holding them too much, okay? So they're gonna sit there. I've got my knees bent, my head and my shoulders are on the ground, and I'm just gonna squeeze, and I'm gonna squeeze my butt and lift my hips up to the ceiling as high as I can. One, down, squeeze, two, squeeze, three, squeeze, four. So these you wanna do, at a steady pace. You don't wanna go too fast, because you wanna make sure that you're hitting the squeeze at the top. If you can't do the weight, that's fine. You can just do a regular bridge, which would just look like this, which I think a lot of us have probably done before. Adding the weight just obviously adds resistance, makes it a little bit harder. And then the last part of our rounds is a squat jack. So this is kind of a wider squat and a narrow squat combined with a jump, okay? So what it looks like is this. Out, in, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, okay? So sometimes you've been with me before, sometimes we count in, out as 1, sometimes I count out 1, in, 2, out 3, in, 4. So this time we're doing each one actually counts as 1, okay? So you jump out into a kind of a wider squat, you jump into a narrow squat, out to a wide, into narrow, out, in. So notice I'm not like ever standing up. I'm not going here, up, down, up. I'm just staying low and my legs are jumping out and in, okay? If that is too much for you, if you cannot jump or you can't keep up with it, you can simply step out, and stay low. Step out, okay? It's a similar idea. You're just not having to jump, okay? So when you do this, you don't have to look out for too much, but try not to be too forward. So when I do it, I look like this, okay? So my back is very straight. It's slightly tilted forward. You don't really want to be like this. You don't want to come way down every time you jump, okay? Your back shouldn't be like parallel with the floor. It's okay if you're here, that's normal because you're jumping, but you don't want to be like super leaned forward, and you don't want to be hunched over, okay? See the round in my back? You want it to be straight, not round. If you find that you are rounding and you don't know why, think about pulling your shoulders up and back. So usually that's where the round comes from. People drop their shoulders and then their back rounds. So if you think about kind of sticking your chest out, pulling your shoulders back, it should fix the round, okay? So that's your rounds part of the workout. And when you're done, you're gonna move on to part 2, which is up and over. So this is like an ab exercise, but it is also gonna work your legs. And you pick between 50 and 100 reps. So you can just go and stop at 60. You can stop at 78, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You just pick a number and that's what you do. And you don't have to put a weight down, but it's kind of just like a little marker to know what you're going up and over. So you're going to sit like this. See, that hurts my wrist. You're gonna sit back, kind of like this, leaning back. You want your arms kind of wide behind you, and you're gonna start on one side of the weight, and you're gonna lift your legs up and over. 1, up and over. 2, up, over, up, over. So when I do this, I typically keep my legs as straight as I can for the most part, and I like to kind of crunch my upper body toward my legs when I go over. So I kind of crunch up, open, crunch, open, crunch, open, crunch, open, okay? This is what it looks like from the side. So see how my legs are fairly straight? All right, so how to make this easier? It would be a little bit easier if you shortened your legs, meaning you had a bend. So if they were bent, it's easier than if they're straight. So you could do it that way. You could also do single, almost like a fan kick. That is equally as good. You're just not having to balance as much, and it's not as much dead weight in your legs. But this one is really good too. If you just can't do it the other way, that's totally fine. So you're either gonna crunch up and over, straight leg, a little bit easier, more bent leg, or more of like a fan kick, up and over, okay? And that is your Monday.